Let us for a few moments meditate on Sri Ramakrishna for peace and prosperity of the whole humanity. Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from death to immortality. Last class had dealt with Sri Ramakrishna's glory. It is not easy to understand him. Sri Ramakrishna is Parabrahman himself. He came to liberate the people from ignorance. It's only when you are free from ignorance you will really enjoy peace and happiness. So ignorance is the root cause of suffering. Secondly, Sri Ramakrishna has come to instill faith in the presence of God. He came to remove all skeptical ideas about God and religion. Through his own life and practice, he showed to the humanity that God was real and he could be realized, he could be seen. So, people need not have any doubts about the presence of the divine power. So, Sri Ramakrishna's life should inspire us to step up our spiritual sadhanas so that we can achieve the goal in this very life. It takes centuries for mankind to comprehend an incarnation. For centuries, millions of people have been inspired by the lives and teachings of Lord Buddha and Lord Christ. Millions and millions of people have been inspired by the incarnation of Sri Ramchandra and Lord Krishna. Even today, millions of people read Bhagavad Gita and try to dwell upon the spiritual content of the message of Lord Krishna. Then hundreds of books have been written on the life and teachings of these incarnations. Yet, they still continue to stimulate fresh studies, and new books are still being brought out, throwing new lights on the contemporary relevance and significance of these spiritual masters. Many times we see people telling, every time we read the Gospel or the Bhagavad Gita, a new meaning will flash in our heart. We find more and more spiritual significance in those teachings. So all these teachings have tremendous impact on our life. Only we should expose ourselves to these teachings. If you want really to be freed from ignorance, if you want really to be freed from sufferings, then you must become open-hearted and take up these teachings wholeheartedly, practice them. You are sure to be liberated. Referring to Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda said, Sri Ramakrishna is far greater than his disciples understand him to be. He is the embodiment of infinite spiritual ideas, capable of development in infinite ways. Even if one can find a limit to the knowledge of Brahman, one cannot measure the unfathomable depth of our Master's mind. The Incarnation, who is the embodiment of infinite spiritual ideas, takes centuries to work himself out. His ideas find expression for a very large to a number of people for a very long time through innumerable institutions and religious traditions, through the creative minds of saints and sages, artists, thinkers, philosophers, and leaders of society. So the teachings of these incarnations flow through these different channels and find expression in infinite ways to reach the people. These teachings keep on inspiring, comforting, until they all, to the last man, find themselves safe through the portals of immortality. In this sense, the life and mission of Sri Ramakrishna may be said to have only just begun. 100 years, a little more than that, is only just the beginning of the spreading of the message of Sri Ramakrishna. A devotee of Sri Ramakrishna wants to know the real Sri Ramakrishna, who Sri Ramakrishna really is. A true devotee of Sri Ramakrishna does not remain satisfied with reading or hearing about his life and teachings. He makes use of this knowledge and tries to seek the reality of which this knowledge is only a shadow. he soon finds that this mystic quest is leading him on to the depth of his soul, which is the gateway to the world of the spirit. It is there that Sri Ramakrishna is to be sought. The real Sri Ramakrishna is unknown but not unknowable. He can be known only if he reveals himself. And he reveals himself to the sincere aspirant in the secret depths of his heart and fulfills the beginningless yearnings of his soul. The incarnation reveals himself to the blessed and leads them from the unreal to real, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. There was a prominent Brahmo Samaj leader at the time of Sri Ramakrishna. His name was Shivanath Shastri. He was a great Pandit. In one of the Brahmo services, this Pandit said, one would become unconscious by thinking of God excessively. He meant that a sincere lover of God would lose his head by constantly thinking of Him. This was, in all probability, an oblique dig at Sri Ramakrishna, who was then attracting the attention of the people of Calcutta with his frequent trances and ecstasies. When Sri Ramakrishna met Shivanath Shastri subsequently, he said to him, "What? Can anyone ever become unconscious by thinking of consciousness? What kind of service you are doing? What kind of message you are teaching to the people? God is of the nature of eternity, purity, and consciousness. Through His consciousness, one becomes conscious of everything. Through His intelligence, the whole world appears intelligent." But Shivanath persisted and argued that some Europeans had gone insane, that they had lost their heads by thinking too much of God. Sri Ramakrishna rejoined. He said, in their case, it may be true, for they think of worldly things. It's because they think of worldly things, they lose their head. Now, Sri Ramakrishna, all the time he was crying and repeating, Divine Mother. Even many people considered him as insane. To such critics, Sri Ramakrishna charmingly retorted, "People say I am mad. It is their opinion that I have become insane by thinking of God day and night, while they themselves are perfectly sane, thinking constantly of lust and gold." So Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out our wrong thinking wrongdoings. Because of these things we suffer. For us, the world is very real. We clutch it to our bosom, study and analyze it, become men of knowledge, and sneer at those who refuse to do likewise. While there is an abundance of facts in our heads, our hearts remain dark, dry, and dreary. The so-called knowledge, science, scholarship, and specialization only makes the darkness more blinding. A famous thinker has said, science only studies the shadows with great exactitude. Of the reality behind the shadows, science can give us no knowledge. It is more likely a man loses his head thinking of the shadows than thinking of the reality behind the shadows. It's all because of our thinking about the unreal things. Men like Sri Ramakrishna turn away from this make-believe and passing show. They seek one-pointedly the light of knowledge that scatters the darkness in the heart. They struggle breathlessly, as it were, without rest or recreation. No wonder they succeed in attaining a light more brilliant than a million suns and become inwardly illumined. Thereby they lose their heads, do they? Blessed are such madmen, for they are the salt of the earth. How and where does a man get the light of truth? The answer of the Pandit is by studying the world outside. The answer of the sages is by turning away from the world and looking within. By seeing that inner light alone does a man become truly wise and enlightened. That means you won't get the spiritual light if you turn to secular knowledge. You must turn to spiritual knowledge to get illumination. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is one of the profoundest of the Upanishads. All the Upanishads are great. There is an interesting dialogue between Yajnavalkya Maharshi, a Brahmajnani, and Janaka, the great king. Its theme being the inner light. What is that? Antarjyoti. There is a section called Antarjyoti Brahmana in Brihadaranyaka. Very interesting passage. So thrilling. I'm just summarizing the topic. Yajnavalkya, the great sage, arrives at King Janaka's court. Janaka starts conversation. He puts him a question. He asked Yajnavalkya, Sir, what serves as light for the man? Question is very simple. The Maharshi replied, the light of the sun. With its light, the man sits, he goes out, he works and returns. All these activities are possible on account of the sun's light. Then again, the king asked the question, when the sun has set, what serves as light for man? The sage replied, it is the moon that serves as his light. So the dialogue continues with Janaka, illuminating the moon, fire and speech, and finally Yajnavalkya says, the self indeed is his light. The Atman, the spirit in this body-mind complex, is the light. For with the Atman as light, he sits, he goes out, he works and he returns. Which is the self? Asks Janaka. Then the Maharshi replied, the Purusha, the infinite entity, that's the self, which is identified with the intellect and is in the midst of the organs, the light within the heart. Assuming the likeness of the intellect, it wanders between the two worlds. It thinks as it were, it moves as it were. Being identified with dreams, it transcends this waking world which represents the forms of death, namely ignorance, and its effects. So this is the passage in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The real light, the ever-shining light, is in the Atman. That light you can see by practicing yoga, by practicing any spiritual discipline. We dwell on this spinning satellite of the sun. We have become sun-centered. Without him we can't conceive of any terrestrial life. So it is natural for us to think that we see and learn, live and move in his light. At night we depend on the moon, which means an indirect dependence on the sun. We also get some light from the Milky Way and innumerable galaxies. Then there are the fire and the modern light sources like electricity. When we don't have the help of even these, as on a night of thunderstorm, we move with the aid of sound or smell or touch. When even these are denied, as in dreams and deep sleep, it is the Atman that acts as light. The sun, moon, fire or sound can only serve as lights for sensory purposes, but not for experiencing dreams and deep sleep. Surely, the mind also cannot act as the light, for it is material, it is non-self-luminous. It only reflects the consciousness of the Atman. All its waking and dream activities are carried on by the borrowed light. In deep sleep, of which we have a recollection in the waking state, the light experienced is admittedly that of the Atman. The external lights are variable in luminosity and they get extinguished too. Even the sun, who is considered as self-luminous, will eventually turn into dark cinders after some time. But the luminosity of the Atman, the witness consciousness, knows neither dimming nor death. The undying and ever constant light of the Atman is described in one of the stanzas of the famous Vedantic treatises, namely Panchadashi. It's a beautiful text composed by Shankaracharya, Vidyaranya Maharshi. He tells very nicely, Masabda Yuga Kalpeshu Gata Gamyeshvane Katha Nodeti Nastametyeka Samvidesha Swayam Prabha. Meaning, through all months, years, yugas and cosmic cycles, through all divisions of time, past and future, the consciousness remains the same and self-luminous. It neither rises nor sets. That is the light shining, ever shining within everyone's heart. That light is the Atman. That Atman is the part of the Paramatman. And that is what we call God. When you became aware of your Atman, then you are experiencing freedom. That means you enjoy immense peace, immense happiness. You will be overwhelmed with joy. And you can't describe it. Once you experience that joy, you don't want any other happiness. Whatever the happiness you may derive through the senses in this world is all insignificant compared to that highest bliss, the joy of experiencing, seeing the vision of God, the Atman, the Paramatman. In order to reach Him, in order to see that light, we undertake spiritual practices, remove all obstructions on the way, then you will see the shining light within yourself. The meaning of all these spiritual practices prescribed by all the religions is only to remove the hurdles on the way. It's just like dispersing the cloud covering the sun. When the clouds are dispersed, you see the sun shining gloriously. Sun is always shining. You are not seeing because it is covered by the clouds. In the same way, our mind is covered by the impurities, so we are not able to perceive the real glory which is in ourselves. So, incarnations come to help us. The Supreme Paramatman embodies Himself in human form in order to help the people to reach that highest goal, in order to show them the path to spiritual life. Incarnations come and help to the maximum extent possible. So, we are really very fortunate and blessed if we understand Sri Ramakrishna as the Paramatman Himself, the Supreme God, Parabrahman, whom we call Shiva, whom we call Kali, whom we call Vishnu. He is the same God who is being called by different names. Whatever name you call, you are calling him only. If you are worshipping Lord Shiva, see him in your vision. Wholeheartedly practice spiritual disciplines. Once you get that vision, then you will know the whole world is full of Shiva only. For the devotees of Krishna, the whole world is full of Krishna. Vasudeva Mayam Jagat. So, for the worshippers of Divine Mother, the whole world is the embodiment of Divine Mother. So that concept, that universal concept, will be well developed if you realize God in your life. Page 570, 571. Sri Ramakrishna began to dance in an ecstatic mood. He sang, Mother, thou canst not trick me any more, for I have seen thy crimson lotus feet. The Master said, Oh, how wonderfully Rajnarayan sings about the Divine Mother. He sings and dances that way. The music of Nakul Acharya at Kamarpukur is also wonderful. Oh, how beautiful his singing and dancing are. A sadhu was staying at the Panchavati, but he was a hot-tempered man. He scolded and cursed everyone. He came to the Master's room wearing wooden sandals and asked the Master, Can I get fire here? Sri Ramakrishna saluted him and stood with folded hands as long as he remained in the room. When he had left, Bhavanath said to the Master with a laugh, What great respect you showed this sadhu. Master said smilingly, You see, he too is Narayan, though full of tamas. That's the way one should please people who have an excess of tamas. Besides, he is a sadhu. The devotees were engaged in a game of Golak Dham, a game in which the player tries to get to heaven by passing through different planes, but on each false step he falls into a particular hell. Hazra joined them. The Master stood by watching them play. M and Kishori reached heaven. Sri Ramakrishna bowed before them and said, Blessed are you, two brothers. He said to M aside, Don't play anymore. Hazra fell into hell. The Master said, What's the matter with Hazra? Again? No sooner had Hazra got out of hell than he fell into it again. All burst into laughter. Latu, at the first throw of the dice, went to heaven from earth. He began to cut capers of joy. See Latu's joy, said the Master. He would have been terribly sad if he had not achieved this. Aside to the devotees, this too has a meaning. Hazra is so vain that he thinks he will triumph over all even in this game. This is a law of God, that he never humiliates a righteous person. Such a man is victorious everywhere. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch in his room. Narendra, Baburam, Bhavanath and M were sitting on the floor. Narendra referred to various religious sects, the Goshpara, Panchanami and others. Sri Ramakrishna described their views and condemned their immoral practices. He said, that they could not follow the right course of spiritual discipline, but enjoyed sensuous pleasures in the name of religion. Master said to Narendra, you need not listen to these things. The Bhairavas and the Bhairavis of the Tantric sect also follow this kind of discipline. While in Benares, I was taken to one of their mystic circles. Each Bhairava had a Bhairavi with him. I was asked to drink the consecrated wine, but I said I couldn't touch wine. They drank it. I thought perhaps they would then practice meditation and japa, but nothing of the sort. They began to dance. I was afraid they might fall into Ganges. The circle had been made on its bank. It's very honorable for husband and wife to assume the roles of Bhairava and Bhairavi. To Narendra and others, Sri Ramakrishna said, let me tell you this. I regard woman as my mother. I regard myself as her son. This is a very pure attitude. There is no danger in it. To look on woman as a sister is also not bad. But to assume the attitude of a hero, to look on woman as one's mistress, is the most difficult discipline. Tarak's father followed this discipline. It is very difficult. In this form of sadhana, one cannot always maintain the right attitude. There are various paths to reach God. Each view is a path. It is like reaching the Kali temple by different roads. But it must be said that some paths are clean and some dirty. It is good to travel on a clean path. Many views, many paths, and I have seen them all. But I don't enjoy them anymore. They all quarrel. No one else is here, and you are my own people. Let me tell you something. I have come to the final realization that God is the whole and I am a part of Him. That God is the master and I am His servant. Furthermore, I think every now and then that He is I and I am He. Sohamasmi. That is a Upanishadic statement. The devotees listen to these words in deep silence. So, try to see the inner light, then enjoy peace. Sri Ramakrishna corrected him. He brought him into his senses. See, the scholars, they twist the things, They want to show their intelligence by twisting the things to make unreal real. But anyway, Sri Ramakrishna met all the important leaders of the time. He himself met them, talked to them, transformed them, made them understand the real meaning of spiritual life, the real purpose of human life. He made them known these facts, and the more we come to know these teachings, the more easy for us to go in this spiritual path. What is needed is purification of the heart. Practice it regularly, then you will reach the goal. So, anything else? What is that self? That self is the inner light. It is the light that dispels the darkness. So, once you discover that inner light, then you are eternally free from the darkness of ignorance. That means you are eternally free from all types of sufferings and sorrows. And you feel immensely joyful in that state. That's your true nature. That self is called in Sanskrit Atman. Just now I read in Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel, he said, God is the whole, I am the part. God is Paramatman, I am the Atman. There is continuous connection, there is no breakage between Paramatma and Atma. They are part and parcel of the same. As individual we call Atman, as Paramatman we are one. That's the point. So the self is nothing but Atman, the consciousness, the source of everything, which never dies. Even at the delirium stage, the person says, I am dying. That means my body is dying, not that spirit. He leaves the body and goes, takes another body. That means that spirit is alive, body is changing. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, when Holy Mother was feeling very sad after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna said, why are you so much grieved? Where did I go? I have gone from this room to another room, that's all. So, Atman never dies. That's the beauty of the truth. This dying, decaying, all these things are subject to matter, that which disintegrates. But Atman cannot disintegrate. There is nothing for the Atman to disintegrate. But body disintegrates because it is made up of so many materials. Panchabhautika Sharira, fire, air, water, all these are in proper proportion assembled, created this body. When the body dies, the fire portion goes to fire, water portion goes to water, earth portion goes to earth, but the spirit frees itself from that cage of body. It takes another body in order to fulfill the desires. The desires means the desires that are lodged in the mind of an entity, of an individual entity. So total freedom means mind is totally free from desires. You are not aspiring anything. That's the state. When you attain that state, then you will understand the glory of your true self. Shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder, O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.